Alright guys, what's up? Today I have what I consider to be a very good question and something I've also contemplated within myself a lot. And yeah, I have quite a bit of thoughts on this topic, so I'm just gonna let it ramble a little bit on this video. But anyways, let me read the comment. So it came from a viewer. So if you want to read it, you can pause it, but yeah. Here we go. Sorry, I just did some squats, so I'm a little tired, but I've always been a jack of all trades and a master of none. It is always a struggle to stick to one skill. How can I get myself to stick to one? I know it's not about a particular skill, but I'd appreciate if you could help. So, this is a very good question because throughout my life, I've actually learned a wide variety of skills. Okay, just to name a few, like weightlifting, guitar, piano, League of Legends, Rocket League, Call of Duty. All these I played like competitively and got to a pretty high like percentile in those games. Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, Japanese. Obviously I went to college and became an engineer. I've been an English teacher now. And there's more, but I always forget them. But yeah, I've learned a wide variety of skills, and yeah, I have never really been one to entirely stick to one skill either. So I understand where you're coming from. And yeah, for me personally, I just couldn't see myself sticking with like the same skill forever. Like, I just like a variety. I like to explore new skills, and the thought of only ever doing the same skills for the rest of time sounds really terrible to me. But I will say, I think I've found some skills that I want to keep doing. Like, I don't plan to stop anytime soon with these skills until unforeseen circumstances probably cause me to stop, or my life changes, obviously. I think it's not good to have in your head that you have to stick to like one path. This is something you see with people learning skills too. It's like they think they need to do something a certain way, and they're so stuck on doing something a certain way that they miss great opportunities in other areas of their skill, or they miss, you know, a better move they could have made in a game and things like that because they're so stuck on one route. So I think forcing yourself to stick to one skill is not necessarily wrong, but it's also not necessarily right. It really depends on the situation. But yeah, anyways, again, I'm just gonna be rambling because I haven't like sat and thought about this for a long time. This is kind of the first time I've ever maybe put into words what I'm actually thinking through here. So we'll see how it goes. Anyways, I think the most important thing for this is, what's your goal? Okay, why do you want to stick with one skill forever? Like, why do you want to reach a very high level in a skill? And like for me, it's the enjoyment of like the competitiveness of the skill, or the enjoyment of the freedom I feel when I'm doing my skill. And like, it's the internal drive that I had to get to that level to prove to myself that I could do it. And you know, that was my original goal when I got to like mastery level in several skills. So I think it's important to know, like, what's your goal? Is it an internal motivation? Is it an external drive from something else? And like, why do you want to get really good at one skill? Do you want to make money off of it eventually? Like, what exactly are you thinking regarding this skill? And I think it's important from the beginning. Okay, maybe not from the beginning. It's okay to try a skill for a bit and then decide if it's something you want to take further, but to kind of understand why and how this skill fits into your life. Okay, and for you, like, why do you want to stick to one skill forever? Like, do you really want to become a master at a skill? And if you do, why do you want that? Okay, I think those are important questions to ask yourself before you say something like, I want to stick to one particular skill. Okay, next point. All skills are kind of the same. Like, at the fundamental level, all skills, yeah, they're a little different in some ways. Like, some things are physical, some things are purely mental, some things are, you know, a mix. But at the fundamental level, all skills and the way we learn them and the depth that you can go into in almost every skill, like in my experience, are all surprisingly very similar. So if you're not like, if you're looking at another skill and you think, oh, that looks better, that looks amazing, chances are it's probably about the same as the skill that you're currently doing. No, that's not to say you shouldn't change skills or you shouldn't update what skill you're doing. And I'm going to talk about that in a second, but like, I'm learning Japanese right now, And like every once in a while I think, ooh, it'd be cool if I learned Russian, right? But the truth is, like right now, it's just I'm still not like so amazing at Japanese that I'm ready to learn Russian in the first place. But when you think about it, like diving into that other skill, it seems new, it seems fresh, it seems fun and exciting, which it will be on some level, but eventually it's going to become routine, just like the skill you're doing now. Okay, so eventually it's going to even back out. So you have to keep that in mind, that all skills, they kind of fundamentally, the process you go through of learning them, yeah, it's all about the same. So if you're worried about like missing out on something, then I think you can kind of relax on that. Like you don't have to constantly be trying new things. Like I think it is a good idea to take at least a couple of your skills to a very high level before you move on to another skill if you haven't done it before. Okay, next up. Okay, doing a variety of skills will help you calibrate what you like. So if you're still young and you know you're 16, 17, whatever, unless you want to be like a world champion in whatever skill it is you're doing, like you have time to experiment and try out some new skills and try out some things. Like some people just find what they were meant to do at a very young age, and I just consider like that's just the luck of the draw. Some people find that immediately and they know this is what I want to do, this is the skill that I like, I'm good at this, I'm going to take this as far as I can. That's totally fine. For me it was different. Like for me, I've gone through a variety of different skills, and it's from doing all of those different skills and the experiences I had with all those skills that eventually led me to the skills that I feel like I have a very deep interest with and that I've continued doing over a longer period of time, which would be right now learning Japanese and also Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, even though I'm on a break from doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu right now. But I want to get back into it because I actually had surgery a year ago. And also making this channel, like this is something that I want to turn into something that keeps going for a long time because yeah, I think, you know, of course having a YouTube channel is kind of a skill in and of itself, and talking on a camera is a skill in and of itself. And yeah, I'm trying to push up this skill as well. And it's just the culmination of all the skills I learned, the culmination of all the experiences I had that eventually led me to doing this specific thing. So I think on some level you need to trust yourself that you're going to make the right decision. Like you can't be, I think a lot of people rush into starting things and quitting things. Like just sit on it for a while. See, you know, if you're like, I really want to quit my skill, I want to try something new, like that feeling will probably go away if you just wait 2 weeks, like honestly. And if it doesn't go away, give it another 2 weeks. It still doesn't go away, then think, okay, maybe it's time for me to try something else, right? I think deciding things over a longer time frame instead of just living off your emotions in the moment and giving yourself time to process like the skills that you want to do, or giving yourself time to process like your relationship with the skill that you're doing or whatever path you're moving down, instead of trying to change things so quickly, just give it some time, okay? Given enough time and enough kind of just contemplating about what you want to do. And if you're just contemplating and you're feeling anxious and stuff, like it's not good to just keep contemplating forever. Like don't do that. But you know, giving it enough time to really sink in and help you find the right course, like because you'll find it within yourself. Like every time I kind of came to a crossroads where it was like I could keep doing this skill or I could start a new one, like I always eventually found the right answer, but it was only given like myself enough time and breathing room to kind of have that happen naturally. I never had to like force anything, if that makes sense, when it came to like choosing what skill I was going to do. So I know this video has been a lot of rambling, but hopefully it'll give you some level of insight and help you a little bit. Next thing to remember is that, yeah, things transfer from one skill to the other, especially if you're doing something that's like similar, like competitive video games transfer to other competitive video games. Obviously learning one language is going to transfer to learning another language. Doing MMA is going to transfer to boxing. Okay, like these things, they overlap. But not only that, like competitive video games also overlap with like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Okay, there's so many different overlapping ways that skills interact with each other. And when you learn enough different skills and you have enough experience with a lot of different skills, you start to see the way that they all overlap. Not only that, when you've learned a bunch of different skills, you've gotten to a decent level with a bunch of different skills, you see the way that learning the skills themselves are all the same. And your learning method gets better, and the way that you understand things and the way that you can improve faster gets better and better. Okay, it's through that process as well that I've eventually been able to express my ideas on what I learned in these videos that I've been making. So I think that's important to keep in mind. Like, even if you change skills, like, it's not the end of the world. Everything you learned on the way to learning that skill, it's going to apply to other skills, and everything you learned about learning on the way to wherever you got in that skill is also going to apply to the next skill that you tried to do. So while I don't recommend you just flip-flop skills every 2 seconds, but if you really know that, like, on a deep level, that this is not the right skill and I don't want to take it to like a mastery level, then like obviously you should be considering moving into something else that you actually feel like you want to take it to a high level. Because if you don't think and really want deep inside to take something to a high level, what's the point? Okay? What's the point? Because you're just going to waste a bunch of time doing something you're not actually interested in. So I think the variety of skills, using the variety of skills, and it's like, okay, this isn't the right skill, like I know I don't want to take to a mastery level, it's not sunk cost to leave that skill. Okay, like what's really sunk cost is just continuing to do something over and over and over that you're not actually internally motivated for. Okay, that's the true sunk cost when it comes to learning. Because even if you find out a skill is not something you entirely love or want to do forever, everything you learn from it's still going to help you when you move into your next field of learning. Okay, the final thing is keeping motivation within your skill. So how do we actually stick to a skill forever? Well, it's all about understanding that skills are very broad, okay? And there's a lot of depth in like everything within your skill. So it's just being able to understand that and know that you don't have to be pigeonholed into one area within your skill. Like if it's something you really love, try out new things with it, okay? And like if I'm doing Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and I've been freaking spamming leg locks for like 6 months, maybe it's time to take a break from doing leg locks and try something else, okay? Maybe try wrestling, maybe try playing on top more instead of playing on bottom, okay? So it's like keep that variety within your skill. If you're feeling unmotivated, give yourself a little space from the skill, okay? Cut down the amount you're doing a little bit. Eventually your motivation is going to come back. And if your motivation never, ever, ever comes back for that skill, it was probably the wrong skill in the first place. But again, people are looking at things on such like a short time frame. Like they need everything all at once, okay? These things are built over a long amount of time. Like knowing what to do within your skill, knowing if you want to keep doing your skill, knowing why you're doing this. Those are things that you develop and start to understand over like a long period of time. So you have to be patient with yourself and understand that your journey is going to be unique and that everything you're doing, when you look back, you'll understand that there was a purpose to it. Like before I made this channel, obviously this channel isn't anything big or anything crazy. And it's just me talking into a camera. And like, honestly, during this video, I blabbered like a ton and just gone off the rails basically. So hopefully this information is helpful somewhat. I really hope it is, because I have no idea if it's going to be or not. But like when I look back on all the different skills I learned and all the life experiences that I had, I realized that like it's through that process that actually led to me being able to create something that I feel is relatively unique versus other channels with this specific, like, I guess, format in the way I'm talking about learning and things. And it's really just like all those different variety and the different input and everything I got just eventually meshed together. So it's like at the time I didn't know where this was heading, right? And then eventually, like, I thought, okay, now I'm starting to see a vision. Now I'm starting to see a vision. And finally I started this channel. And yeah, I want to continue working at this channel. So if you're feeling lost, if you're feeling like you don't know what to do, give yourself some time. Like you're going to find the right answer, but don't act brash. Is that the right word? So don't do anything crazy right away. Give yourself time. Let yourself feel it out. Okay? You can even write about it if you want. Like, write about what you like about your skill, what you don't like about your skill, why you're thinking about changing your skill, like what your motivations are. And I think through that process, through taking the time to really think about those things more in depth and understand, you know, how skills work and how they're going to transfer from one to another, even if you decide to change them, understanding why you're doing it, where your motivation is coming from, how to keep yourself personally motivated throughout the process. That's going to be important to helping you stick to your skill in the long run. And I think that's enough information for this video. I hope it helps you. And yeah, let me know if there's anything else you want to talk about. And thank you very much to C555361. I saw you posted a lot of comments and a lot of very nice comments on my video. I really do appreciate that. And I'm going to keep trying to improve my videos because I know this was a pretty terrible one with a lot of rambling. But if it helps just a little, then that'd be great. Anyways, guys, if you like these videos, please leave a like, subscribe, check out some of my long form content, and have a great day. Thank you.